Hello and welcome to my channel. Astronomy meets Christianity. In the last lecture, we spent a lot of time and effort reconstructing the Jewish calendar used by the Jewish priests to the Temple of Jerusalem, because we knew from the exact date of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ what level of illumination the moon had when they could see it on the sky. For an example is here, where we have the years listed, 29 AD, and then we have the feast listed. We have the Jewish New Year, the Pentecost, the Feast of Tabernacles, etc. And the Feast of Tabernacles runs from the 15th of the Jewish month of Tishri to the 21st. By reconstructing a calendar, we can determine which days were Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And that's essential for the work we're doing. We still need to do a lot of groundwork, but in order to keep you engaged as an audience, I better give you a taste of the things that we can do with the knowledge that we already have. So we can look at the Gospel of John, and he tells a story, very engaging story, about a miracle that was done by Jesus Christ when he healed a blind man and then told him to wash his eyes by the Pool of Siloam. Assume we don't know on what year it happened. Jesus Christ's ministry lasted 3 years. So it could have been in year 30, 31, or 32. By year 33, Jesus already died before the Feast of Tabernacles. So we start from not knowing anything. It could be any one of those 3 years. And the Gospel of John tells us, now the Jews' Feast of Tabernacles was at hand. And he's really sad that as practicing Jews, Jesus and his followers wanted to go to the Temple of Jerusalem and pray and participate in the Feast of Tabernacles, but they really couldn't, because Jesus was a wanted man, likely to get arrested and executed. So they're discussing if they should go or not go. And then Jesus said unto them, my time is not yet come, but your time is already ready. So the world cannot hate you, but me he hateth. So he says, they're not looking for you, but for me. So go ye up unto this feast. So he told his disciples to go, and he was going to hand back. But then Jesus changed his mind. After the disciples had gone to the feast starts on the 15th of the month of Tishri. He decided, nah, I gotta go. So then on verse 7:10 he says, but when his brethren were gone up, then went he also up unto the feast, not openly, but as it were in secret. And he arrived to the temple in the middle of the feast. Now, if he goes from 15 to 21, he arrived there in 17, 18, something like that. And then, on the last day of the feast, that was Tishri 21. On that day, Jesus said, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. So we're already on the last day of the feast. Then he went to the Mount of Olives to sleep. So that was the end of the day. And the next day, an adulteress was brought into the temple to be judged and likely executed. So now we're into the 22nd. We're on the 22nd of Tishri. Now, if a woman gets brought in, and they're judging her for being an adulteress, they're about to cast stones on her, and stone her and kill her, then that day, the 22nd, was not a Saturday. It could have been any other day of the week, but not a Saturday. Jesus went ahead and said, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone on her." So he was shaming them, saying, "Are you truly guiltless? Have you committed no sin? Is there anyone around among you who has committed no sin?" He shamed them basically. And one by one they left. When Jesus was left alone and the woman was still standing in the midst, Jesus lifted up himself and saw none but the woman. And he said unto her, "Woman, where are those thine accusers? Hath no man condemned thee?" She says, "No man, Lord." And Jesus said unto her, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." So he forgave her. So we determined the 22nd was not a Saturday. Now Jesus continued teaching throughout the day, and then at the very end of the day, he said something that was offensive to the people that were there. Jesus said unto them, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am." Jesus believed that his soul was predated Abraham, but his listeners didn't like that. And they took up stones to cast at him. They were going to execute him, just like they were going to kill the adulterous woman. Then they decided to kill him. But Jesus hid himself and went out of the temple, going through the midst of them, and so passed by. Now here comes the really, really amazing story. Can you imagine? Jesus just runs out of the temple. You have a crowd of crazy priests with stones in their hands, chasing after him to throw stones at him. And as he's running, he sees a blind man. He stops. How can he stop? And then he starts talking to him. And then he says, "I must work the works of him that sent me. While it is day, the night cometh when no man can work." And here's the clue. Here's the explanation. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. Then he spat on the ground, made clay of the spittle, and anointed the eyes of the blind man with clay, and said unto him, "Go wash in the Pool of Siloam." And the man went his way there, washed, and came seeing. That was a miracle. He started seeing when he was blind before. Later, they brought him to the Pharisees, he that had been blind, and they determined it was the Sabbath when Jesus made the clay and opened his eyes. How can it be a Sabbath? We already said they couldn't be a Saturday because they almost killed the woman, they almost killed him. And the key is that the night cometh and it's still day. So what happened is he's running out of the temple, the crazy priests are chasing after him with stones, and the sun sets. And everybody stops. No one can be harmed on a Saturday. Saturday is a holiday. You cannot arrest anybody. You cannot throw stones on anybody. It's a holiday. So everybody stops, and Jesus continues walking. And then he sees a blind man. But there's still a little bit of light. There's light left for about half an hour after the sun sets. So then he goes ahead and heals the blind man. So now we know that the 23rd was a Saturday. And that's enough information to determine with certainty in which day this happened. If we look at our calendar, we see that the 22nd of Tishri was a Monday. So the next day was not a Saturday. On 30 AD. On 31 AD, it was a Saturday on the 22nd of Tishri. That cannot be because that day they were going to kill the woman and Jesus Christ. So that's eliminated. And then on 32 AD, on October 17th, 32 AD, it was a Friday. And that's the right day because that afternoon, that evening, it became Saturday. So that means that Jesus healed the blind man on October 17th after sunset, but before it was completely dark. If we use our Stellarium program, where is it? Yeah. We can figure out that the sun set on that day, October 17th, 32 AD, on Jerusalem, he said at exactly 1729. So, since this is near winter, the days were short. So that's at 5:29 p.m. Now, dusk is normally defined as when the sun is minus 6 degrees below the horizon, and people say that's when it actually gets dark. So, taking that as the last time that Jesus could perform his miracle, because he himself said that he could not work his miracles at night. So we're looking for dusk. So we set the sun, the information on the sun, and we look at the altitude. And as the sun goes down the horizon, it's minus 3 degrees, minus 5, minus 6 degrees 5 minutes. So at 1754 is considered dark. That'll be 5:54 p.m. The difference of those two times is the time period in which Jesus performed his miracle. So now we know that the time Jesus performed the miracle within a range of 25 minutes. Isn't that incredible? What we achieved when at a time when people don't even know when Jesus Christ was born. They say 6 BC or 4 BC. They don't know when Jesus Christ was crucified. They say 30 or 33 AD. We know exactly when he was crucified, and we know exactly when this miracle was performed within a range of 25 minutes. We know the year, we know the month, we know the day, we know the hour, and the minutes within 25 minutes. It's my position that the events described in the Bible are real, and if they're proven to be real, then the miracles described are real as well. This is just the beginning. There's so much we need to talk about, so much ground we need to cover, so much foundational material that we need to determine all the other dates for all the other miracles. But we can do what we just did here if we had the groundwork. So I hope you stick around. Please like and subscribe to this video, and continue watching. You're getting priceless education for free. I'll see you in the next class.